Hi, Shabe Lechenden here, Bridges at Rancho Santa Fe, with a little tip today for you. And today we're going to talk about one of the really important fundamentals, which is ball position. And let me start with a disclaimer. If you take, say, 3 lessons from 3 different golf pros and watch 3 different shows on the Golf Channel, you may get a variety of different ideas. So what I'm giving you today is what works for me, what's worked for my teaching, and seems to be a blend of all the information I've come up with over the years. So let's talk about ball position, and what I want to do is make it simple for you. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, this looks like a 1 and this looks like a 1, and that signifies dead center. So I've got the ball here located in my dead center of my stance. If I take my left arm and my right arm and put them together, they meet in the center of my body. As I swing a golf club, as I go back, it comes up. As I come down at around the center, the club will tend to hit the ground, and that's what we want to do while we're striking a golf ball. So what we're talking about right now is all of your short shots. Sand wedge, pitching wedge, 9, 8, 7, maybe 6. Short to medium irons, dead center is a good place to start with your ball position. Okay, now that we've covered the short and medium shots, let's move on to ball position number 2. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3. Ball position number 2 is for your longer shots off of the ground. We're talking about 5 iron, 4 iron, hybrids, fairway woods. These we're going to move forward. Remember, ball position 2, we're going to move it 2 inches forward. Now, how do you measure that? Well, if you happen to carry around a chapstick like I do, this is 2.5 inches, so about a chapstick forward. So I'm moving this ball here roughly 2 inches forward. And now I've got a hybrid club. Let me just back up a little bit here. So as I set up, this stick is in the middle of my stance, and you can see the ball is slightly forward. This is our position. We're not trying to drive downward on the ball like we would a pitching wedge. We're trying to just sweep it. And with the ball a little forward, you might catch it a little bit on the upswing, helping to give a little more loft to it. This is ball position number 2. And now, jumping forward to the final ball position, this is going to be our driver. That's ball position number 3. Just move the ball about 3 inches forward from there. Now that we've got the ball 3 inches more forward, we have a ball that should be located somewhere in the area of the left heel, or up to maybe 2 inches inside the left heel. And this is our driving ball position. We've got the ball on a tee. We're a little more behind it. We're catching the ball on the upswing. So once again, going back to ball position, 1, 2, 3. 1 is your short and medium shots in the center of your stance. 2 inches forward is our longer shots off the ground, and 3 inches forward from that is our driver. Now hang on a second. I've got a couple of advanced tips for you now. All right, I promised you a little advanced discussion of ball position. One of the most important things that separate the very good player from the average player is the timing of the wrists. Now, when my wrists uncock, hopefully that's the place where the ball is. Now, let me give you 2 little thoughts. Number 1, most people uncock a little bit early. If you were to put the ball back in your stance, that might match your early uncocking. You may temporarily hit the ball better with the ball a little back in your stance. If you're going out to play in a $9 million match against Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, and you want your best chance of hitting the ball well, maybe move it a little bit back might help you. However, having said that, if you would like to be a better golfer and create better technique for a lifetime of good golf, playing the ball a little forward is going to teach you not to hit early, but to wait a little bit and unsnap a little bit later. So when you're actually playing and you need help, the ball a little bit back may help you to strike down on the ball and get the ball cleanly first. Playing the ball a little bit forward while you practice will help you develop this motion of shifting through and waiting and having the lag and late release that we want for the advanced players. In addition to that, ball position for trouble lies. Let's talk about that for just a second. Okay, let's talk real briefly about trouble lies. And when I say trouble lies, I mean your ball is in a divot, your ball is in the heavy rough, your ball is on the side of a hill, whether it's downhill, uphill, or side hill. In general, you will get better contact with the ball slightly back in your stance. So when you get into a situation like, let's say for a heavy rough, for instance, if I have my ball forward and there's heavy rough, as my club comes down, it's going to strike and catch a lot of that heavy grass before it gets to the ball, and it's going to diminish the contact and distance that I get. In heavy grass, for instance, once again, playing the ball a little bit back helps you to come down a little more abruptly on the ball, slicing through the grass and getting cleaner, better contact for a better overall result. So anytime you're in a little bit of trouble, you're in the trees, in the rough, and you've got to punch out, play the ball a little bit back in your stance. Also heavy wind. Playing the ball a little bit back in your stance. I would say wind is a trouble situation, isn't it? I got 30 miles an hour wind. If I play the ball a little back in my stances, particularly with my irons, it's going to help me shoot the ball out a little bit lower and help me cheat the wind a little bit. Okay, to finish my discussion today about ball position, I want to talk to you about Bill. Bill is a student that I had back when I was the head professional teaching at the Carlsbad Golf Center for about 10 years. Bill had never hit a good drive in his life. He was a senior citizen. He picked it up when he retired. He was probably 80 years old and had some serious issues with his golf technique. Now, when I was giving Bill a lesson, he was trying to hit his driver, and as he came down, his club was hitting way back behind the ball. And he looked at me and says, you know, I keep hitting the ground back here. He says, why don't I just move the ball back here? I'll hit it better. I said, yeah, maybe, but guess what? Now you're going to be forced to swing and hit early, and that's not what we want. I said, let me give you a drill, Bill. I put the ball on a tee and I put it way up in front of him like this. I mean, it was crazy. And I said, what if you were to play the ball up there? Wouldn't that teach you to wait and get this late snap? He says, yeah, maybe. I said, let's try that as a practice drill. So we messed around with it a little bit. I sent him on his way, and then Bill disappeared on me. And I thought, oh no, I didn't see Bill for a month. I must have messed him up. He doesn't like me anymore. I wasn't able to help him. I took this all very personally. And but that happens sometimes when you're teaching. And then a month later, I see Bill at the far end of the driving range. And I debated whether to go talk to him. I didn't want to put him on the spot, but there was no hard feelings. He didn't want to take lessons anymore. And I walked up to him and he looked at me and he smiled from ear to ear. I've never seen him so happy. I said, Bill, how you doing? He says, oh my God, you got to see this. And he puts the ball up forward. He takes the swing and just smashes this beautiful high drive. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. He goes, I've never hit the ball so good in my life. He says, I go out on the course and I'm driving it just like this. I said, really? I said, are you playing the ball way up forward in your stance? I said, yeah. Oh, excuse me. He says, yeah. I go, you know, I didn't mean for you to do that. That was just a practice drill. I really think you should play the ball in the correct position. He says, I knew you were going to say that, and that's why I haven't been back. He says, this works so good for me. He says, I don't want to mess with it, and that's why I haven't been around, because I knew you wouldn't let me do it. I said, well, if that makes you that happy, you go right ahead. You know, anything that makes you to play a lot better, I'm happy with, Bill. So at any rate, that's an interesting story. But back again, remember, check your fundamentals. 1, 2, 3. 1 is center. 2 is 2 inches forward. That's your longer on the ground shots. 3 is 3 inches forward, which is around your left heel for your driver, assuming you're a right-handed player. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope this tip helps you a little bit. I'm available for lessons here at the Bridges, so just give us a call in the pro shop, or if you prefer one of our other professionals, happy to help out all of us. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.